Hello America, this is Dave the Bald Guy, putting the Bald Guy in baldguylimo.com. So we're going to change things up now. We've had some success with this YouTube channel, and now I want to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing here in Portland. About a year ago, my wife and I started a limousine business here in the Portland, Oregon area. As you can see, my cat is enjoying herself. We started this limousine business, baldguylimo.com. I'm the bald guy. I put the Bald Guy in Bald Guy Limo. And we have found certain types of marketing recommended by people has worked and some hasn't worked. So instead of sitting around and telling you about what's worked, I'm going to tell you what hasn't worked for us. Do not do these types of marketing. Because we have tried these, and you know what? They don't work. So I really have no particular order, except I will say at the very top of the list, what I will tell you not to do is Yelp. Some people swear by Yelp. For me, I'm like, meh. Here's the thing about Yelp. All Yelp cares about is getting their hands on your money. So for example, we registered our business with Yelp so people can find us on Yelp, and immediately they're calling us at least twice a week to spend money with them. So if you do a search for Portland Limousine, for example, you'll see baldguylimo.com will come up there, Bald Guy Limo. You click on it, and there's our company information on there, and then right below it is an ad for other limo companies. You have to pay like $50 a month to get rid of the ads for other limo companies. So you got to bribe them, basically. It's almost like working for Tony Soprano, because they got to a point where you felt like you needed Yelp, and then they just started taking your money. So Yelp had this thing when I first started where they gave you $300 credit for $300 worth of advertising. And I said, well, what the hell? $300 worth of free advertising. And I did it. And I was clawing higher on their list. If you looked for a thing that said Portland Limousine Company, we would go up higher on their list. After the $300 was up, I turned it off. A couple of things happened. First of all, I went from number 5 of Portland Limousine Companies, and I plummeted down to 20. Okay, that's the first thing that happened. The second thing that happened is I had some troll from Facebook decide to leave me a negative review, even though they'd never been in my limousine. Left us a negative review. And all of a sudden, Yelp decided to start getting rid of the positive reviews. You see, they got rid of the positive reviews, but left the negative fake review. The positive reviews were real. The negative review was, well, fake. So all of a sudden, if you looked at our star rating, we went from 5 down to 1.5 in a span of about 2.5 months. I actually almost shut down my Yelp account. But eventually, Yelp actually got rid of all the reviews off my page. As we speak right now, there are no reviews on our Yelp page at all. We got a 0-star Yelp page, and I don't even care. It doesn't even bother me. Then after a while, Yelp started calling me again to, hey Dave, this is Jill from Yelp, and I see that you've had some response through our website, through Yelp, to talk a little bit about your business, so we want to see what we can do about increasing that. Which is true. I would get these questions from people, and still do, through Yelp, asking questions about limousine service. It's my opinion and my belief. I don't know it as a fact. I'm not saying it is a fact. I'm saying it's my opinion and my belief that some of these, if not all, are fake. Because now they can turn around and say, oh, you got 12 contacts through Yelp. You know, how did that work out for you? Well, we can increase that by X if you spend X amount of money, and so on and so forth. A lot of these emails are very generic, and they feel very generic. And, you know, we're a limousine service, and their phone number is for someone in Colorado or something, or, whatever. No one here locally, no one here in Portland. It was just confusing. Honestly, I wouldn't go through Yelp right now if I didn't have to. And I really don't even have to. So I completely ignore Yelp. And I'm not spending any money with them ever again. I am glad I didn't spend a nickel with them. They just pissed me off. The next one is a company called Brand-Defined. We did a deal with Brand-Defined mainly because a friend of ours was working for them. Mainly because a friend of ours was working for them. And this was, this was a long time ago, right when we first started. And they were a data mining company. And Facebook is one of the largest data mining companies on the planet. And what they did is they would pay Facebook for the right to use the information that you voluntarily give Facebook. So people, you don't realize when you post, hey, I'm out on a bachelor party with my buddy Bob and we're having a good time hitting the clubs and stuff like that. Facebook is keeping track of all that. You're voluntarily giving Facebook this information. So what they do is they sit and they look for certain things that people say, I'm getting married in 3 weeks and my bachelorette party is on such and such a day. I can't wait for it. So what they would do is they would then market an advertisement, would just pop up in this person's feed, looking for a limousine for an event. Give us a call at 503-954-8156, baldguylimo.com. And so they would do stuff like that. They would specifically target market for people saying this. And the way we did it is we had the entire Portland area for Brand-Defined. We paid to have the entire Portland area, and what we would do is we would data mine just for that, people who said certain keywords. So I would tell them, okay, certain keywords, these are the keywords we're looking for. And they would work with us and yada, 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 and it went on. We did it for 1 month. We didn't get a call. We didn't get an email, and by best recollection, I don't recall an uptick in web traffic either. So it didn't do anything. I actually canceled it after a month, mainly because we didn't get anything from the advertisement. We didn't get a call. We didn't get an email. We didn't get an uptick in web traffic. Why am I paying money if I'm not even getting an uptick in web traffic? As for our friend who worked for Brand-Defined, she was there for a month and a half, and they fired her because she had to take a day off to go to the doctor. So that tells you what kind of company this place is to work for. So I would avoid Brand-Defined completely. The next one is Google Ads. There was a time when everyone said, you got to be in Google Ads, you got to do Google Ads, we got to do Google Ads. I'm going to tell you something about Google Ads. Every limo company in Portland does Google Ads. So when we did it, I found we just sort of got buried with everybody else. If your business is unique, maybe it actually might be worth a shot. But for us, it didn't do anything, and it certainly didn't get us any business. I will not do Google Ads again. And it's not cheap. It used to be really inexpensive, like pennies a click. It's not like that anymore. They charge you a couple dollars a click, and that's expensive. I don't want to pay that kind of money for no business. The other thing is social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So Facebook, I Facebook pretty heavily, and that's just me, just my own personal social media use. I use Facebook. I'm always on Facebook. I have no life. I'm on Facebook a lot. Facebook tends to skew towards the older people. I'm pushing 50, so, I kind of fall into that category. Twitter? Nah. Twitter is like the herpes of social media. Don't bother with Twitter. I mean, maybe send out a couple of tweets a day, but don't pour money into Twitter. Instagram is partially owned or completely owned by Facebook. So when you do your ads for Facebook, you are actually also choosing to have it advertised on Instagram. Instagram tends to be skewed towards the younger demographic, but the people, the real choice, millennial demographic tends to go with Snapchat. And you can do that totally for free. You don't have to have anything. Just have a picture, and you just put it on your Snapchat wall and pray to God it gets seen, and the next thing you know, people are following you. And then you can target those people specifically, send a picture saying you're having a sale or something. I've done a little bit of that. It hasn't really panned out a lot, but Snapchat is not really my forte. Like I said, I'm a little older. It hasn't really worked. Facebook ads have done absolutely nothing for me. I take that back. I have gotten one client from a Facebook ad. I got pretty inventive. I took a sentence, now rent us for your quinceañera is exactly what I said, and I put it in Google Translator, put it into Spanish, and I made a Facebook ad out of that. And that actually, I ran it for a week. It got me one client who hired me for her daughter's quinceañera. So I kind of take that back a bit. So that's what happened there. So our social media, it was okay. We also advertised on television. So how did that work out? There was a local professional wrestling organization. They're all over YouTube called WCWC, World Class Championship Wrestling, WCWC. And they used to run every Saturday night. And I made a deal with them for $200 for a month. And they would use our limousine for their show, which actually worked out quite well because the announcers would mention Bald Guy Limo during the show because there I was. And professional wrestling organizations like this, they have a hard time getting advertisers. So they tend to kiss the ass of their advertisers, which is very much true. So they've treated us very well. I have no complaints about any of that, except we didn't get a single call. The people who go to these events aren't people who do wine tours or anything like that. These are not the high-end advertisers, but the people who watch them are totally different than the people who go to them. So those were the people I was targeting. We did it for almost 3 months. Nothing ever really came of it. It's unfortunate though, because what was really cool is I would be going to the grocery store and people would go, "Hey, it's the Bald Guy Limo guy." So people were recognizing me. For $200 a month I paid. It was a partial trade deal. $200 a month, I got 60 seconds of commercial time per episode. So out of a 60-minute episode, 1 minute was me. It was my beautiful face. And I was getting recognized at the grocery store. It was a lot. That was kind of fun. But for $200 a month, I don't know. Is it really worth it? It didn't really do much for us, even though it was a lot of fun. The last thing I'm going to mention is something I have not talked about publicly because it's still up my nose. We got completely ripped off by an organization called $55 websites. And you know what? I'm going to do a whole episode on this. I'm not going to talk much about it right now, but their job was to build us a website, which they did, and it was a beautiful website. But then they said, well, we'll do some marketing for you, and we'll give you a marketing, and we'll get you on the front page of Google, and all this and all that, and it's only going to cost you $750. So we paid them $750. You know what they did for us? They literally shared my postings that I had on Facebook. They pushed the share button. They claimed they gave us backlinks. I don't even know what those are. And then they said there were negative backlinks associated with our site that was bringing us down. So after $750, we were on the 10th page of Google. Do you know how much business you get on the 10th page of Google? You don't get squat. So I fired them. I said, this isn't working out. You're fired. And you know what they did? They deleted our web page off the internet. Just completely deleted it. Seriously. So you know what happens when you get deleted off the internet? You're deleted completely off all the search engines. So we had no trace of us that even existed. And then she said, if we said anything bad about them, that, we got family members who are lawyers and we don't pay legal fees. So the fact is, and I already consulted my attorney, I can say anything about them that's true. I can give my opinion of them. I can't lie about them. But if my review is negative, that's fair. So they can't sue me if I say, don't use them because I had a bad experience. So right now I'm going to tell you, don't use them. They took $750 of our money, did nothing, and it was a bad experience. Fortunately, if you go to baldguylimo.com right now, the website's been rebuilt. And you want to know something funny? They got us to page 10 in Google. Charged us $750 to do so. Said, well, it's such a stellar deal. Oh, we're giving it to you so cheap. They got us to the 10th page of Google. Right now, as I talk to you, we're bouncing between the 5th and 7th page of Google. And you know who's doing it? This guy. So all by myself, I'm getting us, depending on the time of day, we're bouncing between the 5th and 7th page of Google. But I don't mind because I am getting us farther into Google than they ever did. Completely useless. $55 websites. Avoid them like the plague. So I'm going to do an entirely different episode just on them, just to tell the whole story, because I've literally got emails because they were like, hey, we're going to sue you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what are you going to sue me for? You got my money. What do you got to sue me over? Say anything bad about us. Well, maybe you shouldn't rip people off. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. That is pretty much the stuff that we've done that has done nothing for us. We haven't gotten any business from that whatsoever. What has worked for us is actually getting our name in the community. We've been donating some time for fun runs and auctions and charity auctions and stuff like that. We've done wine tours and Christmas lights and all that stuff that has actually paid off a lot more for us on social media than anything $55 websites has ever done. So to $55 websites, page 5, baby. That's neither here nor there. And that's going to conclude everything. Do me a favor. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to hit that subscribe button at the very bottom of the screen below me. I think it's down one of these here. There's a little subscribe button. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up signal while you're at it. This is Dave Galvin, putting the Bald Guy in baldguylimo.com. Next time, we'll talk a little more business. Until then, have a good one.